this story broke, I believe, after you guys were off the air.
Yeah.
You haven't had a chance to really react. I kind of grew up as a Bengals fan. I'm kind of impartial now. Doing my job, it's interesting, 30th year. I get a chance to get to know these guys as college players.
30th year.
Yeah, wow.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Good for you. Sorry.
No, it's all right. And I end up kind of pulling for guys, and stories as opposed to, crying if the Bengals lost. But Trey Hendrickson finally getting signed. And it's interesting, when Burrow signed and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, everybody thought, is there any money left for guys like Hendrickson? And the way this thing went on and on and on, we wondered if it would ever, finally, would they be able to get to an agreement? Your reaction to this is a defense that struggled mightily last year. Does this give Joe Burrow and the Bengals some hope to get him back?
Definitely hope, I would say. I mean, Trey Hendrickson's unbelievable. This whole thing started at Radio Row when Trey, reached out to Pat and wanted to talk to him about about the entire situation. So it has been going on for quite some time. Rapshi kind of alluded to it yesterday, that the offer that Trey had turned down initially was a massive pay bump for this year, but no future money, which is exactly what he was looking for, which is, when he came on the program. And the biggest thing, I think, for all of us when he came on the program was how much how much he loved Cincinnati, the city. Like, he even said, hey, look, if the best thing for the Bengals is to trade me, I hope they get stuff back that they can then go use to help them win a Super Bowl. Like, he wants Cincy to win a Super Bowl, so that's very clear. Yeah. I'm just bummed out for him because he didn't get what he got, or get what he wanted to get, or what I think he deserves, what I think everybody believes he deserves. So that's the only bummer for me.
I know. I assume the Bengals are happy because it's kind of, just like reading the tea leaves. They weren't exactly looking to give him a 3-year deal or whatever with 2 years guaranteed. So they got on their side the 1 year for $30 million, which it's also good for Trey. I mean, he does get a $14 million pay bump for this year, but he's also now controlled kind of by the team through next year because he doesn't have a no franchise tag clause. So they can franchise him again this year, and he's playing on another 1-year deal, which I know because, talking to Pat and D-Bud and AJ, and we just talk about players all the time. They want that, like the certainty of having a paycheck for 3 or 4 years or whatever. Now he's got the certainty of it this year, but if something happens this year, if he has an injury, was terrible for him, then that screws him. But he got the $14 million pay bump. He's making $30 million this year. But I assume as a Bengals team that has control of him now for 2 years he's making $10 million less than Myles Garrett and TJ Watt. I think they probably feel good. What do you think?
I want to, Ty, let me ask you this, because the Bengals defense last year, Joe Burrow could have been the MVP. The Bengals could have gone, obviously, to the postseason. Slow start, again, hurt them last year. They're trying to avoid that happening this year. They fired their defensive coordinator. They bring in Al Golden from Notre Dame. He's an outstanding defensive mind. They could not have looked any worse, even though it's preseason football. They've been a sieve for 3 preseason games coming off the year they had last year. I think the optics of it, you almost had to make this happen if you're the organization.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. I mean, and I asked Rap Sheet yesterday, and I'll ask you the same thing. Obviously he makes their defense much better. He's one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, but them getting him back, does that automatically, do their defensive points per game drop by 2 touchdowns? It doesn't necessarily make as big of an impact as everyone's making it out to be. But like you mentioned, you have Joe Burrow and you just put all that money into the receivers room. You can't let this be a reason that you don't make the playoffs or that you lose a playoff game because they didn't have any pass rush. So, I think their hand was kind of forced. It's just crazy that this whole situation spiraled out of control the way that it did to ultimately, get done this close to the season.
That's a fair question. He's the best pass rusher in the NFL based on the numbers.
Right.
That obviously helps. Having the rookie Shamar Stewart be on the other side, Miles Murphy if he's healthy, Joseph Asai. They've got some bodies now if they can get teams into obvious passing situations. But their issue to me was stopping the run. and having safeties that were compatible and worked together. You know, a couple of years ago when they got to the Super Bowl and played against the Rams, their safeties were really, really sound. And the last few years, they've been kind of chasing to try to find a couple guys that were erasers on the back end. And in my opinion, haven't been able to find that. So, you know, obviously Jordan Battle and Geno Stone will be their guys, Iowa Hawkeye. But I think just having him, when you get your alpha back in the room, I think that alone, just as far as the spirit of a team that's looking to start fast, that alone I think's got to help.
Oh, and like the morale of, hey, we were losing this guy we all thought for 6 months, and now he is going to be on our team. I bet that's a massive boost too. But like when we're talking about it with the defense, the only thing that we're thinking of is, can they win the Super Bowl or not? And if you go back and look at the last 5 Super Bowl champions, like they had great defenses, or they at least had multiple guys. Like one guy, it's hard to think of one guy as who doesn't play quarterback. That's a 14-point swing. Like that, it's very difficult. And there are TJ Watt stats with the Steelers where they without TJ Watt they're nothing. So there is part of it where you could think Trey is going to flip it for him, but when you just measure him up against those other Super Bowl teams, it's hard to take them over them because of the defense.
Also, the immeasurable. We've talked about it a couple times on the show. Sam Hubbard retiring, and he was one of the leaders, if not the leader, on that defense. So now, if you didn't have him or Trey, then you have to expect someone to step up and be a leader of this young defense or defense that definitely needs to improve.
I think Logan Wilson he's put enough time in now. He's in the middle of the defense. Right. He's a green dot. I mean, he comes across to me.
You mentioned Trey Hendrickson. That happened yesterday right as we got off the air. Is this a situation where, we're going to be kind of right back in the same spot next year? Obviously, they get a little bit more team control. He can still be franchise tagged, and he gets a nice little pay bump. But had this been in the works for like a couple days, or was it really just like, hey, let's put our swords down and get something done because our defense absolutely stinks and we need a little juice and we need to get you back out there?
I would say this, that it's a case where Trey and the Bengals were really frustrated with each other over the weekend. So I think it kind of came together quickly. And the Bengals weren't prepared to pay him the type of money over a couple of years, 2-3 years, that he wanted. And I think he was looking for long-term security, couldn't get it. And the solution, in the end, was doing this deal where he collects a $14 million raise. $14 million raise. And just minor little things. Just minor little things. They came together. Again, that's what gives me some semblance of hope that maybe Micah and the Cowboys can have some type of breakthrough. Because I'm just telling you, over the weekend, these sides were nowhere. And it came together really quickly. And that's kind of how it happened.